Does Britain have a problem now with its work ethic? Because that figure of 7 million not active in the economy, well, that's not sustainable, is it?
Well, it is sustainable. What it means is we've got fewer people who are productive, so the tax base is going to be diminished, and therefore the government isn't going to have as much money in its coffers as it needs to pay for things like the health service and schools, etc., etc. And, you know, what are these people actually doing? Are they all economically inactive? They may be registered as such, but who knows how many might be working on the side for a little bit of cash here and there. But 7 million is a huge number.
We've got 6 million on universal credit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the conservative principle is surely that it should always pay to work. It doesn't seem that way these days.
Well, as we know, fiscal drag, so-called, is bringing more and more people into the tax net. I was looking at the figures after the budget, and 3.2 million people extra will be paying income tax by 2027 because the threshold at which you start to pay income tax has been frozen and is going to be frozen at current levels until 2028. So year in and year out, more and more people are going to find that a chunk is being taken out of their earnings, and it's therefore disincentivizing. And of course, there are people who are then being drawn into the tax net at higher levels of tax. And we all know about the doctors and others who have been retiring early because their pension pots are capped, and they would pay 55% on any cash that they might have built up in their pension fund over £1,073,000. It sounds a lot of money to most people, but actually when you ask, what annual income will a pot of that size bring you in, it's not that significant. So, yes, for various reasons, people decided to stop working or to work less. And that's not good, I think, for the health of people mentally either. Personally, I enjoy working. I've been self-employed all my life, apart from being an MP. Obviously, you're not self-employed as an MP. But I've been a lawyer. I've done lots of media work over the years. Yeah. And I've not drawn a salary. I've earned all that I can persuade people to pay me for, unlike those who are currently on strike in the public sector who get paid regardless of their productivity.
Yes, I mean, the public sector has an unending need for cash.
Yeah.
And yet, as you say, the source of national income is dwindling. If 7 million people of working age are not active in the economy, my heart goes out to anyone who can't work. If they have a disability, if they have a serious illness, that's what the welfare state is for.
Exactly.
But how do we get those who could work back to work?
Well, I'm not in favour of conscription, but I think you just need to have a tax system where it's worthwhile to be economically active. We now have the highest tax burden we've had since the Attlee
government. Wait a minute, you say that, but if you're on a low wage, you don't start paying any income tax until at least £10,000.
No, but there's national insurance and other imposts that you have to pay as well. Also, if you are earning from a job, then you're taken off benefits or they're tapered away. So
you would actually slash taxes at the bottom end?
Of course. I mean, we shouldn't start paying tax at the levels that are currently in place. If you're only earning 12 or 13,000 a year, I think it's outrageous that you should have to pay 20% marginal rate.
So really, the only tax you should pay, if your income is £12,000 per annum, then it's VAT, and that should be about it.
Yeah, I'm in favour of low taxes, simple taxes. The trouble is that we've now got a tax system which is impossibly complicated, and we've seen it again in the last budget with corporation tax. Companies are going to pay a higher rate of corporation tax, but they can set off all sorts of things against that. So it's great news for the accountants and lawyers, but it's not actually good news for ordinary people and for the economy generally.
Low tax for the low paid sounds like a brilliant idea. I can get behind that. That's carrot. Yeah. What about some stick? What about the benefit system?
Well, as you said rightly, the people who can't work, that we should be as generous as we can afford to be. But for those who are of working age and don't have some disability which is obvious or which is certified as a proper medical condition, then I do think that their benefits should be minimal and they should go out to work. And this is a problem that we've had at various times in Britain's history. But in the 1980s, we slashed tax rates from penal levels to competitive rates. Not only did that make us competitive internationally, so that brought capital into this country, and industry and business generally became more productive, so that meant there were more profits and wages rose as well. So you had higher wages and lower taxes. What's not to like?